And then just, I guess, to give you an idea of what the test is like, because some people may want to know, like, what,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
definitely.
probably the
Shoot.
question I have
Yeah,
when people are like, hey, I want to be a 911 dispatcher. What is it that I need to do? Um, a lot of it is common sense, I would
yeah,
say,
yeah.
but some is just speed because you are literally taking phone calls of people's emergencies and you have to be able to hear and you have to be quick with it. So you have to be able to type and you have to have really, really good memory. So at the time that I took the test, they would say, let's say, they will give you a list of numbers like 5, 6, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, 6, 8, 9, 10. And then you have to once it stops, then you have to remember those numbers and you have to type it all into the computer as much as you can remember.
Yeah.
Um, you also have to be able to type fast, obviously. They will give you like a map and give you scenarios and say, okay, this is the emergency. Which unit would you send based on like where the units are at on the map? And pretty much you're going to send the closest unit, but you also have to consider things like, okay, if it's a high risk run, let's say it's a fire, you're
Hmm.
going to send officer and you're going to send a firefighter. Let's say it's someone with a gun. You can't just send one officer on that run. You have to send more than one officer. So it's things like that they're testing, like your one common sense, like I said, but
Hmm.
also like just decision making and I'm trying to think, is there anything? Of course, they test for standard like English and spelling and things like that as well. But I think the hardest is like the memorization and just being really, really quick.
And this is the test to get the job.
Mhm.
Oh wow, okay.
Yes.
So we're gonna fast forward. You told us a little bit about the hiring process. That's I didn't realize it was that in depth and that involved to be a 911 dispatcher because it's not like, or maybe I'm wrong because I really don't know what it is that you guys do or did. I didn't I didn't realize it's that involved because um, you don't have contact with the public, so to speak. So
Mhm.
or maybe you do when they
So,
call in. I'm not sure. I guess we'll get to that in a little bit. But once you finally got hired, did you have to attend an academy? And if so, like what was that like? How long was it?
yeah. So, yeah. Oh gosh, how long was it? I don't remember exactly. Let's think. So yes, when you get hired on, you are in a training class. I want to say the training class was about 12 or 16 weeks. Um, it could vary, from jurisdiction to jurisdiction,
Hmm.
as well as duties. Some jurisdictions you might only do call taking, some you may do call taking and dispatching. So at the time, I was doing both call
So
taking and
I'm
dispatching.
sorry. There's a difference.
Yes,
Wow.
some jurisdictions. So some jurisdictions you can just be a call taker, meaning you just take 911 phone calls all day. You
Yeah.
enter into the CAD system, and then there's a dispatcher that will dispatch the run.
Mm.
And then some jurisdictions you can just be a dispatcher where you don't take the 911 phone calls, and then some you can be both. So I was both. I
Yeah.
was both a call taker as well as a dispatcher. So that training is obviously a little longer because you have to learn both ends of the business.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to say the classroom portion was either 12 or 16 weeks. And then you have like on the job training where you're paired up with another dispatcher. And those are in 4-week increments. And I believe you go through that for a total of 16 weeks as well, because you go through 4 different people
Yeah.
and you switch different shifts. So one for the first 4 weeks, you may be on second shift. The second 4 weeks, you could be on third shift because you want to learn all aspects. Like every shift is slightly different. You
Yeah.
deal with some, different types of runs. Obviously, first shift is where you might have a bank being robbed. You're not going to necessarily have a bank robbery on third shift, right? Banks aren't open.
That makes sense.
So it's important to expose you to all the shifts so you can get an idea for them all.